Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are happy to have Mr. Ratnam with us today. And of course, that's not his full name. He's lovingly or he's very well known as Ratnam in the industry. Of course, I would let him introduce himself. But before we do that, I would love to talk about why are we here today and what is the need of doing or recording a video of this kind. Uh, my name is Ronald Joseph, and I am one of the founder of a company called Frontline. And we are a company which is into performance of the retail store employees. When we were starting the business, or when we talk to a lot of retail businesses, something what we've learned is that there is so very little knowledge shared on the retail business in terms of performance itself, in terms of career in the retail itself, right? But vice versa, if you see in corporate, there is enormous amount of data on best practices, strategies, plans, and how to do performance. We said this is a time when maybe we should take it up this opportunity to talk about performance in the retail industry, and that's the effort we are doing today. And this is a third interview with Mr. Ratnam, and he's had a phenomenal career journey. He spent the most amount of time with Titan, which is a company in the Tata Group. And of course, Ratnam sir, I would love for you to introduce yourself. I think none of us in our generation can think of working for more than 15 years in the same company, and you have grown the ladder. So, would love to hear from you about your experience and your profile, and then we'll jump into our questions, sir.
Okay. So my name is Sabha Ratnam. You can either call me Sabha or Ratnam, whatever suits you. And it's been 25 years in the professional space, and I started with sales, and I joined Colgate Palmolive long back. I think way back in 1995. And thereafter, my initial days were switching many companies. So after Colgate, it was Jensen Nicholson Paints, then Cousins India Private Limited, then Borosil Glassworks. So these were the companies that I worked with before joining Titan. And then in the year 2000, Titan happened. I got Patna as my territory. And I worked in Patna for a couple of years. Then from there, I moved to Kolkata. I was there for about 3 years there. And then I was assigned the state of Gujarat. So I was managing the state. And in 2007, I moved to Bangalore. That's the time when I was brought into the what do you call marketing space. So I was managing the Titan brands, and I was also given the responsibility to launch. And we had a brand called Dash, and we could not make too much out of Dash, and sales was dropping. So we had to reinvent ourselves, and the task was assigned to me. And at that point in time, I launched Zoop. So all of you might be knowing Zoop. It's a very famous kids brand from Titan, and really colorful watches, nice watches for children, which would excite them. And we are again, re-exploring the brand promise for Zoop. At that point in time, it was "Be Cool" was something that was put up as a tagline for Zoop. But now we are reinventing that again because children have changed. And post my marketing stint, I became the regional head for South. That was another 5 years. And then from there, I was given this training portfolio. So I started heading retail training for the company. It's been 6 years in this current job. And I really enjoy this role because one, I'm in touch with a large retail workforce that really is the backbone of the company. We have nearly 2,000 stores and 19,000 plus employees working in those stores. And I actually manage the capability building for all these guys. So it's been an interesting journey for me. We have a team of 40 plus people, and we manage the training for all these guys from Titan. So that's it from me, Ronald.
Thank you, sir. I think you've really seen Titan sort of grow as a brand, as a business
Yeah.
overall from your experience.
Yes.
So it's very interesting, sir, coming from the sales background and then looking at marketing and then looking at capability building, which sort of helps you to also know what happens in the store in terms of sales, how
Yeah.
the marketing should be placed. I think you have a very unique sort of profile, and that's phenomenal to be in the training role. To jump in to our conversation, sir. Uh, to answer the most basic question, right? Why is performance management important for the retail store teams? Why do we even do that?
Okay. Okay. See, it's important to have an effective performance management process. Okay, because it aims at building high performing workforce, and that can offer better customer service and improve overall business performance. Uh, the system can also help retailers overcome performance gaps, develop skills, maximize employee productivity, and certainly boost store sales. From a frontline employee perspective, if you see, performance is what gets them to stay in the job, right? It also helps them to get their incentives, and that's really something that they understand, because the language of money is extremely well understood in this space.
Right.
uh, we really need to ensure that the company's values are not compromised in the process. And the biggest mistake that people make is thinking that you are selling products, right? That thought itself can be disastrous, because if anything becomes transactional in nature, it remains a transaction forever, and there is no scope for any relationship. And without a relationship, you can't provide an experience to the customer. So the redefinition, that we need to build or cultivate the thought, is of developing a very sound customer experience. And if experience is the focus, then you can imagine, how engagement will improve at our store. Our MD makes this a point that it's not important for us to have every customer, walk out with a carry bag in his or her hand, but it's mandatory that every customer walks out of the store with a smile. And if that is something that we need to look into, then it becomes our definition of performance management. So while we give a target, we have all the necessary focus on all the retail matrices, but superseding all of that, is providing a great customer experience. And apart from money being used as motivation, it's also important to take care of the intangibles for our people. And during the COVID period, we took care of all our people by enhancing the COVID insurance to one and all. And our MD actually announced, 10 lakh for people, who have a deceased member or, losing somebody. Uh, and that was a great gesture. These are few things which really enhances productivity, because on one hand, it's important to get them to perform. On the other hand, it's also important to retain them, right? That's how the problem of uh, getting the workforce attached to you becomes that much more important. So if you look at communication, then that becomes a key. And how quickly or on what basis, do you touch base with your people? What's the regularity or what's the frequency of communication that you have with them? And in that space, our leaders travel regularly, and they are in touch with our people, and they do talk to them just to boost their morale. Performance, on one hand, I need the results, right? That's the focus that I need to bring in. But on the other hand, if we can take care of the individual, allow him to think that they are part of the greater family, and we really care for them, that brings in supreme commitment. We could see dedication from people during the COVID crisis. And some of these people actually said that they have the task on their hand, and they would like to complete that before going home. And some of our business leaders were really surprised to see the kind of commitment coming in from the front line. And I think all of it came into being because of the kind of support that the organization was giving them. So it's important to talk. It's important to look at individual productivity. So from the company side, if you see, we have been looking at the productivity of each and every individual. And if somebody is falling short, then there are others who are going to definitely pitch in. Many years back, we had a store manager, from Southex, and I was chatting with him because he was handling the largest business store of the company. Southex, Tanishq, is almost a 500 crore company, okay, in itself, and it's a large turnover store. And I was checking with the store manager and asking him, how do you measure productivity?
Yeah.
So he was telling me that it's important to assign roles to each and every individual inside the store in such a manner that there is a greater clarity in what they do, and at the same time, assign a buddy for their growth. So if I know that I have to do this task, and if I know that that's going to be my next role, then I really need to be budding along with a person who is already doing that role.
Yeah.
And that process has led to growth and development of the individual simultaneously. So it's very important to define the role, and also set your expectations correctly from the role. It has to be cascaded in such a manner that it's understood by the person concerned very, very well. And in addition to this, we also have defined behavioral and functional competencies on which people get measured. So on the behavioral side, we have put up customer centricity, drive for results, interpersonal effectiveness, building effective teams as the competencies for people. And on the functional side, we expect them to be high on business acumen, commercial acumen, understanding the various processes involving the store, selling skills, and for sure, product knowledge. In addition to all of this, we have two core competencies, which is believes in people, wherein we expect each other to respect and have unconditional positive regard for each other, and certainly exhibit a lot of curiosity. So innately curious is another competency that we have, that not only helps people to learn, but also helps them to develop themselves on areas where they are falling short. So that's the long and short of what you have asked, Ronald.
Wow. Yeah. Covered a lot of points, sir. And while, of course, there are a couple of questions which I had follow up. but I think you very interestingly answered them. It's nice because we can now discuss about them directly. So
Yeah.
you said a couple of things which are interesting. One is while performance is directly looked at results, right? But what goes inside to get those results out is the way we plan, the way we give them roles and responsibilities, the way we show them their behavioral competencies, the way we are able to uphold the company values, the way we are able to train them. And of course, all of this, if then put it into a more strategic way, is what helps you to get the results.
Absolutely.
Than just looking to say every customer walking in has to walk out with a bag.
Right. Right.
Interesting. Uh, so, how do frontline employees look at this? What has been their expectation from your perspective? Do they expect this that I have to grow? Because every time I speak to a lot of retail, especially in Indian companies, I said that Ronald, if they get 500 rupees, they'll move the company. Right?
Yeah.
So, what has been your experience? What do the frontline expect? And,
Hmm.
and what has been their sort of expectation out of performance management?
Right. No, see, there is a big difference between working for some other company and working for Titan. Okay. Because we take our induction very seriously. If somebody has joined the organization, it's important to induct that person in the right manner so that they learn the right things from day one.
Okay.
Whether it is about integrity or ethics or the values that we really stand for, all the all of that comes alive, and it's not only done through the trainer, but we have also built a system inside our stores, and these are in-store trainers, who kind of hold the flag for the training fraternity, and they are called learning champions. So what we have done is we have identified the best lot from the stores, got them certified, and there is a learning calendar that is rolled out by these learning champions, and these are the guys who get in touch with the store staff on a timely basis, so as to update them on any new product that gets launched or any new process that the company wants to implement. So all of that is done through our learning champions. The learning champions actually get get themselves trained every month through our regional trainers, and then they kind of execute their task inside the store. So that in itself is a great motivation for many. And in the process, what we have managed to get is aspiration from many others who are looking up to these learning champions inside the store. And in the last 4 years, what we have seen is many people have really looked up to becoming a learning champion first.
Okay.
And earlier on, people were tired and they were thinking that probably I have become a floor manager now. I don't know when I will become the next store manager. But with learning champion coming in as a role, that kind of becomes more aspirational for them. And at the same time, if you look at the kind of interventions that Titan brings in for all these people, there is a huge opportunity for them to learn. And people who have spent 3 years or more in the company, they don't tend to leave and go. That's what we have seen. And it's only important for us to ensure that they stay with us for 3 years. And this is something that we have been also. And result and data have shown that anyone who has spent more than 3 years, is extremely productive. They know the processes of the organization. They know how to handle customers. They know how to build, the value for each and every customer. And it's the repeat business, that keeps us alive. So we have a repeat which is in excess of 50%. And that really comes from the services rendered by the field teams. So if you are in touch with your top customers, if you actually grow the aspiration amongst your customers through the various digital mediums that you have, and if you touch base with them, talk to them on a regular basis, inform them about what's new from the organization, I think those are the things that we train them on, and it catches on to them very fast. So while there may be a few, I do agree with you that a 500 rupee jump or I have seen guys jumping over 100 rupees also, uh, when they look at the intangibles that the organization has brought in for them, that becomes extremely important. So one is, the kind of effort that we put in training people, and certainly the opportunities that are there for them in the system to move up the ladder. So not necessarily everybody can move vertically, but there are horizontal movements also which are possible. And today, even if it is a franchisee store, the franchisee has got into multiple stores, and they can actually look at getting a role in either of the formats, and they can move within formats as well, with for the same franchisee. So that also we have seen happening. Hence the attrition levels have significantly dropped in the last few years for us. But it's really difficult, Ronald. I must accept that if somebody has made up their mind, they do move out. But again, they come back to us requesting that they be taken back again. This we have seen, happening in our eyewear stores. So that's a kind of affinity that the organization has managed to develop. And once you have worked here, it is not easy to work in any kind of culture, that the other organizations bring for you. So that's the best part of being in Titan. The respect for people and unconditional positive regard that we give. So people really long for that, and they also get attached because of this.
Certainly, I think that's very true of the Titan culture, which also is at large is at a culture at Tata Group. So
Yeah.
definitely something which we've heard, we've read case studies on, and this has not been a practice just made 5 years ago, right? It's been a practice which is going on for about
Yeah.
years and years. Right, and
Yes.
I also know that there are second, third generations or people who are working in Tata, right?
Yes.
So that's been the culture which Tata has built, and that's definitely very important. So there are some organizations, sir, who may not be able to build this culture right away, right? But what you are saying is that the way to build that culture is to respect your people,
Yeah.
the frontline employees,
Yeah.
and build aspirations for them, help them grow in the role, and make sure that that 3-year period is what they really stay back on, and then it's upward from there.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to say.
Yes.
Interesting. You also spoke a lot about the induction, and how you are able to set some expectation right at the induction phase, where
Yeah.
people know what to expect in the role and how to grow in the role, and so on. Brilliant. So, of course, sir, all of this, right, boils down on your shoulders, right? On what you are planning, how you are planning, how you are able to execute on the floor in the stores on a day-to-day basis, right? As per or from your experience, what are the major roles and responsibilities of the training teams towards designing a very strategic performance management plan, sir?
Uh, See, one is to capture the productivity of people, not on Excel sheets and not on any paper, but have a feed that comes to us on a regular basis, so that we can follow up, and even the individual is able to understand where they stand in terms of numbers that is expected out of them, right? So it is important to kind of digitize your PMS, and also keep a tab on the productivity of all the people. Most of our communication between frontline employees and their managers happen in an unstructured manner over text messages, phone calls, or in person. And this can cause a lot of chaos in the work environment, and can lead to improper reporting, lack of transparency, leakage of confidential information, also lower productivity in a lot of ways, right? Uh, in other words, 80% of the workforce faces the challenge of ineffective real-time communication with their managers, and cannot effectively discharge their duties, right? And that's where digitization comes in, because in order to enable frontline employees with the right tools to be more productive and make on the spot decisions, businesses have to replace the clunky manual or the paper based processes. They must digitize all communication and operational processes from top floor to ground floor. And there is a catch here, so how do you digitize your operations when frontline, who constitute a huge majority of workforce, don't even have access to computers or even a company email address, right? So in that space, the solution that came to us was smartphones, and we said that everyone has access to a smartphone, and an effective solution like mobile productivity can enable them to access the tools on a regular basis. And we have been working constantly on this, and it really allows us to not only give them a perspective of where they stand, but also tell them what are the things that they can do to improve it. And apart from the system throwing up data, we also have individuals caring for each other. So I was talking to the floor manager the other day, and she was telling me that from her responsibility per se, she's responsible for all the people who are under her, and she really needs to look into people who are not contributing enough. So what she does is she gets them to understand a few processes, and really work with some of the smart workers in the company, so that they become even more productive than what they are at that point in time. And that really has helped. So like that, there are individuals who do take care of, and these individuals are monitored by ABMs, right? So what we have told is that spend more time with people, help people who need help, and try and see if things improve. Because if you come with the right attitude, I'm sure you can learn, and you can be groomed. But if there is an issue attitudinally, then it becomes very difficult. So it's also important to build that culture amongst people, to not only leverage some of the resources which have been given to them, but also make the most of what is expected out of them. Uh, Another example can be the CRM that has been launched for store staff. We have been using the Salesforce CRM, and what is expected out of the store teams is very simple. If you have 10 things that you expect, then those 10 things might not happen. But we have told them only two things. We have said that on a daily basis, there should not be any complaints. So you ensure that whatever complaints are raised on the CRM, then they are closed then and there itself. It's very easily understood from their point of view, and they do that on a daily basis, and that really allows us to grow on the NPS. The second piece is to ensure that whatever happens, gets closed on that day. So there is nothing which is pending for the next day. So those are the tasks that have been very clearly articulated. So like what you were saying, when you explain what your role is or what is expected out of you, if there is enough and more clarity in that, then certainly people will, bring in their best.
Yeah.
So that's where it is, Rona.
Wow. I think a lot comes from your experience on the field, and I can completely relate it to what you are really speaking. So a couple of things you brought in were very interesting. One is to keep a continuous tab on the conversations and not do this one-off conversations on phone and all of that. That will help. Second
Right.
is that focusing on productivity, transparency, removing the bias is very important
Yeah.
when you're planning performance. And of course, uh, leveraging tools which are available in your hand is very important. Just implementing tool does not help.
Correct.
That's something which you brought was very important. And of course, all of this, if then can be digitized, it of course helps, but needs to be make sure that it is used to its optimum level so that the outcome comes out very well. That's certainly very well put, sir. I had written a couple of questions, and I want to go to my next question. Is while you're doing all of this,
Yeah.
what are your top 3 best practices you would recommend to the industry? If there is another HR or a training head listening to this from a retail company, what are the top 3 best practices you would suggest?
See, the top 3 would be one, to understand, where you are. So, do you do these regular checks on your people?
Okay.
We have, put up certification journeys for our people, right? That keeps them engaged. So that's very important because the retail team, while they are busy doing their job inside the store, it's important to observe and constantly give them feedback. Okay. And this is another thing that I want to share. I was discussing with the MD of Carrot Lane, Mithun, and he was telling me that when they had their store and their father was managing the store, he always used to look at the time spent by each representative with the customer. And he had a great logic, that if you spend more time with the customer, then the bill value tends to grow. And it also shows that you are trying to develop a relationship with the customer. So what he actually did was put up a camera, just to observe that. And the feedback was going on a real-time basis to all the people, and that really enhanced the productivity of the store. So it's very important that store managers, are doing that for you, because a lot is left to them. It's not that I'm the store manager, I'll sit in my room and I will, respond to questions only when they are shot at me. It's important that I'm on the floor. I understand the strength and weaknesses of my people, and I'm able to add enough and more value to each and every individual. So by virtue of that, you not only grow your stature, but also a lot of respect for yourself. You are being treated as a role model also. So these are few things that needs to be cultivated as far as store staff is concerned and their productivity is concerned. The second most important thing is to keep them rooted to your values and culture. So whatever you stand for, at least that should be known to the retail teams, and they should be very well aware of what the company brings onto the table, and they should be able to communicate that to the customers as well. For example, if you look at the Tata Group, almost 67% of the revenues goes into building up the society. And even from Titan's context, we have taken it up very seriously. Whether it was building up the fraternity which was into repairing watches, or it is the Karigar community in the space of jewelry making. We have done a lot of work on that to ensure and improve the lives of all these Karigars. And let me tell you, if you look at the jewelry industry and the way Karigars are treated, tears will roll out of your eyes, Ronald, because these are individuals who, spend most of their time in dingy environment, not enough lighting, and there are many poisonous gases that emanate from the materials that they use. So cadmium is something that is used by the industry, and it can, bring in a lot of lung-related diseases. So a person who is working as a Karigar is forced to retire, 20 years before the normal retirement age. So that can tell you, what happens to their body. So from Titan's point of view, we took it up and we said that no, we have to ensure that the Karigars are, given a proper environment to work. And instead of cadmium, we use indium, which is a more productive material, and it is expensive. That's the reason why most of the jewelers don't use. But that also justifies why Tanishq is more expensive than the other jewelry that is available. But for us, lives of people is very important. We will not compromise on that. And it's also important to work on the society at large. So if we truly believe in this, this is communicated through our store staff, right? That is the value that you tend to develop. And they really understand this very well. Similarly, if you look at Taneira, which is our brand of saris that we have launched, we are particularly indebted to those handloom weavers, who don't get the right kind of money for the most difficult task that they accomplish. So it's very important for us to not only uplift their lives, but also give them credit for whatever they have done. And these are, some of the endeavors that we have picked up for ourselves. And that really needs to be built into the thought processes of the front line to get you better results. And thirdly, it's very, very important, to take care of your people. Okay. My MD always tells this, that if I find two different toilets in an office, that will tell me, what sort of an individual I'm dealing with. You can really figure out whether or not people are treated the same through some of these small things. And according to him, the owner will have a separate bathroom or a toilet, and he will have a janta a toilet for the rest of the people. That tells you that you're not treating your people equally, correct? So it's very important to have care and affection built into whatever you do. If you do that, if they sense that I'm being loved, then they will give much more than what you expect them to deliver. Because sometimes they go out of the way because they really think that yes, the organization is doing a lot for their growth and development. So it's very important to look at all these three aspects, Ronald.
Very nice. I think this is very, very interesting. You spoke about three things. One is, just making it real time, creating career journeys or certification journeys, making it more real time, talking to employees, making sure that they are able to resolve the issue then and there, and of course, focusing on business. Second is rooted to values and culture of what your business is. Showcase that to your employees so that they can also sort of inculcate the same values and culture what your business is. And third is equality, and that's a very, very important topic in today's world, and especially for the millennial forces which are joining the retail industry more and more, right? How do we equally treat them in terms of everything, right? Gender, the countries they come from, and so on at an international level, right? So I think equality at frontline is something which is a topic which we should maybe at a later point of time speak a lot about. And of course, India being a country where we have people from different states, right, and different languages, different culture, different sensitivity to the kind of food we eat, but we still are running very successful retail industries. I think that's a topic which we should pick up very, very soon, sir. While we have spoken a lot about performance, right? What I want to really talk about, something which is an interesting topic for me, and I assume it's also for you, is careers in retail, right? Not so much is spoken about careers in retail, right? In India, interestingly, there is not even a degree for retail. Of course, there may be a smaller schools running like a diploma in retail, but
it's coming up.
Focusing on right on retail. If I go on internet and say what's my career as a career in the retail industry, there is so little knowledge, right? What has been your experience? I know you're also working in similar aspect. You've had your personal interest in developing the careers of retail in India. Would love for you to speak something more on that, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Ronald, for asking this question. This is something which is very close to my heart, and I'm also a committee member of RASI, which is a retail association for Skill Council of India, and they are dedicating themselves to the development of retail workforce, and also give the kind of respect that the profession desires. If you look at retail, it's a wholesome mission in my mind, because if you are in retail, there are many things that you can learn, right? One is, result orientation. You also learn how to motivate, how to train, how to develop your work. You certainly become strong as far as customer service skills are concerned. The natural leader in you, comes out so effectively when you face the customer or when you are talking to your people. So it really gives you a lot of confidence, right? It also makes you very patient, because one thing that we have told is that customer is always right, and you should behave like sugar in your coffee. It's not, but it coffee every time you take a sip. So it's very important to look at some of these aspects. Really also helps you become more cheerful, because you are smiling, you are interacting with your customers. It allows you to become a great communicator. So if you if you talk, you get various perspectives, and you can become a great communicator. You can become a great negotiator. You can also, call yourself as a rounded business professional, because those are the things that retail brings for you, correct? It also helps you in becoming a great listener, because listen to your customers, correct? So working in retail really means that you are hiring, you are managing, you are motivating your team to increase sales. You're also overseeing, vendors and buying processes. You're also managing inventory. You're also creating and maintaining store displays. You are developing and executing, sales and promotions. You're also analyzing market trends and researching competitors, which is, a more strategic thing. You are anticipating. You are also looking at what's happening. It is giving you the tactic to your business, and apart from all that, you monitor sales numbers, you look at forecasting future sales volumes. You're also meeting your sales quotas. So it really makes you more result oriented. It also allows you to deal with questions, complaints, comments from your customers real time. And lastly, you also look at monitoring your budgets. You also control your costs. You also want to maximize your profits. Which other profession will give you so much? Yeah. Okay. It's very important to understand that each area is very deep in itself, and retail that way brings in a wholesome development of an individual. So guys who have spent a lot of time in retail, they can, in my mind, face any problem given to them in their lives. So that's the kind of development that happens. So it's very important to respect retail. And if you look at career options today, retail is not restricted to your store alone, right? Like what I said, you can train others, correct? Certainly training becomes one big thing, because you have learned and you can add value. You can bring more effectiveness from your experience. You can also develop yourself in the space of operations. You can certainly work on customer service. These days, you have roles for customer experience executives in the company. So you can definitely move into that role as well. There are many folks who have moved into HR. There are some folks whom I know are working in marketing. So marketing, retail marketing is a subject in itself, and you can spend a lot of time in understanding what are the BTL activities, the below the line activities that you can do. In Titan particularly, you look at birthdays, anniversaries. You look at a particular catchment to get a particular kind of crowd inside the store. So there is a lot of development that can happen to you, right? In addition to that, you have merchandising, you have pricing, you have buying. So these are different professions that one can get into. So very clearly, there are opportunities for you. And Ronald, the degree courses have been launched. So IGNOU offers a degree in retail. We also have Delhi University working on a course which is a BBA in retail. So there are courses which have been developed for our people, and it in a way leads them to become a lot of things. So Rasi, for example, has retail trainee associate as a designation, retail cashier as a designation, retail store operation associate as a designation, retail store manager as a designation, retail team leader as a designation, retail department manager as a designation. Then you have a retail sales associate. You have a digital cataloger, because people are required in the online space also. Omni-channel is becoming that much more important in retail. So someone who can catalog, who can look at product very differently in the online space. And then you have a designation called seller activation executive. So these are guys who can really work on schemes and various kind of promotions within the store. So, companies are also getting roped into some of these skills for employment. And most of these courses have a 70% weightage given to the vocational part, which is on the job part. So only 30% actually has to be brought in from the theory side. So you need to attend all the classrooms. You also need to work as an apprentice in a store. And while you are doing that, you earn a small stipend of 5,000 to 7,000 rupees, depending on what kind of role you are doing. And you also get to, learn and get a BBA degree for yourself. So the profession has really opened itself up, and a lot of effort from many people who want to really build it up and shape it up. And recently, I was speaking to Niharika, who is the chancellor of Delhi University, and she was telling me that she was not interested in bringing up retail as a curriculum. But then, when she understood that it can be more meaningful if the vocational side has more weightage, she immediately brought in that thought and she added it to the curriculum. Now you have many colleges, offering these courses through Delhi University. So that's the development that has happened in this space, and I'm sure if someone really loves, to grow their career in the space of retail, opportunities are immense. I have seen some of my store managers open their own retail stores as well,
Oh, wow.
and they are doing exceptionally well. So one of the store managers I know was working for me in my DVG Road store, and when he opened up his small store, he invited me. He said, "What are the things that I can add? What needs to be focused upon?" So I told him that Titan has taught you a lot of things you will know, and he opened up an eyewear store. And today, his eyewear store delivers a turnover of 3 crores. So that is the kind of possibility that is there for retail folks. So my advice would be that you take your job seriously, learn as much as you can, and think of how you can contribute back, in whatever way you can. So that should be the process that should be followed, Ronald.
Yeah, absolutely. I was not aware of Titans offering a course in retail. That's actually very exciting to know, and I hope across India, a lot of universities pick it up as
Yeah.
a course, and I'm sure you will have a lot of value to add
Yeah.
in the curriculum and so on. There are three things which you spoke.
No, University of India has a tie-up with IGNOU, and they have launched a course. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, interesting. And three things you spoke about what retail career really teaches you. The most exciting part to hear was you have to become a sugar in your coffee. I have not heard that before when you talk about a career, but that's definitely true, right? When I walk in a store, I want the retail person who's trying to sell me to become that sugar in a coffee of what I'm trying to buy. That's
Yes.
so much relatable.
Yes.
And of course, it helps you to become a very rounded business professional, right? You're talking from negotiation, you're trying to sell, you're trying to upsell, you're trying to understand the customer's problem or what the person is looking for. And you're trying to really give the exact product the person is looking for. And that is a great deal of learning. It doesn't come from a day. It's a long process. And of course, with all of this, it makes you a good communicator, not only in speaking, in listening, in understanding, in responding right to the customer. So I think this is definitely something which a lot of people who hear would be excited to know. And while all this is happening, I really want to tell you, sir, is that there's a lot of passion I see in you in terms of retail and what you do. And I'm sure I can myself see this when I walk in the store, in any retail store which belongs to Titan. And there's one, as I was telling you, there's one very close to our house. And I can definitely see everything you're talking about in terms of your team members being sugar in the coffee, they being rounded professionals. Just to actually tell you, I play badminton, and the glasses I have, the specs I wear, is not very suited for badminton. And when I went in, I said, "Hey, you know what? I need a glasses." And they said, "Sir, this is a glass which is very good for sports." And anyone who's an athlete or a sports guy has to use something like this. And I was able to buy it, and I had brilliant results. That comes only when you exactly said about being a rounded professional, right? So I can definitely see that. I think a lot of your plans are already working in the store, in the floor. So it was an exciting conversation, sir. And of course, we'd love to do more conversation. Hopefully, when pandemic is lifted, we'd love to do more face-to-face conversations, to have more, questions to ask. While of course there were some technical challenges, glitches while we were recording. So if our viewers are viewing this, we are really sorry about this. We tried our best. And I hope while this interview went slightly longer, but I am sure that all of you will be able to get a lot of value, a lot of knowledge out of it. And of course, Ratnam sir is always available if you need to bounce off your ideas, if you're looking for careers, if you're an HR professional looking for ideas on performance management, you can always reach out to Ratnam sir on his LinkedIn, and I'm sure he'll be very, very happy to respond and help you. Any last thoughts before we end this, Ratnam sir?
No, I'm very happy, Ronald, that you're doing this. I'm very sure that a lot of the retail fraternity, will be able to benefit from this. They'll be able to take whatever nuggets are coming out of our discussion.
Certainly.
And it's important to give that perspective, because retail is something that doesn't get the kind of respect that it should get. And many times, even the people who are part of retail, they think that it's a burden. And just a couple of days back, when our MD was talking to us, he was telling us about a poem, which runs in his mind forever. This was a nursery rhyme, who was talking about his job being the best job in the world. And people should regard, their job like that. If you say that, yes, I've got this job and I can do wonders with my job, that's the kind of attitude that will help you scale up. So that's the message that I want to leave people with. So have the right thoughts, and certainly sky becomes the limit for you.
Certainly. Thank you so much, Ratnam sir, for your time. It was more than just conducting this interview. It was a huge learning experience for me. There are a lot of interesting things I'm taking back, which I'm sure I'll be able to take back to my product of what we've discussed today. And I'm sure that our discussions would continue, and we'd be able to learn more from you. And it's been and it's truly has been one of my best experience of talking to you and hearing from you on the work Titan has been doing and your contribution back to the organization. Thank you so much for your time, sir, and I hope to be in touch. Thank you so much.
Thank you.